All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Advanced Professional Growth Leadership in Academia course. It's a great pleasure to see everyone. It has been quite a break, but I hope everybody is safe. I know there has been another horrible attack today in Ukraine, so I hope you and your families are safe and safe. All right, so we do have new members joining today. To introduce ourselves, my name is Hanna Terlecka. I am the founder of STEM with Ukraine. This is where this project is from, and I am an associate professor of physics at Middle Tennessee State University. And this program is done together with Dr. Andrea Lee from Austin Peay State University and Olha Leshko from Ukraine. She is representing two institutions, Drohobych State Ivan Franko Pedagogical University, but also she is a teacher from Truskavets School number 1. So thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Olha, for all you do. And it's a pleasure to work with you. And thank you, everybody, for being part of this project today. So today is a lecture is on a very important topic on emotional intelligence. So we will have two speakers today, and Andrea will introduce them. But before doing that, I need to do a very quick review where we are. So this course involves like 5 lectures. We have already done first 2 lectures, and we had 2 hands-on speaking sessions, right? Practicing session. So we covered the networking and relation building lecture and also growth mindset. And today we will be focusing on emotional intelligence, and then we'll have time management, team building, and some shared experience. So stay tuned. I hope these lectures are useful for you. You find them applicable in your academic life. And we really appreciate your participation. As I mentioned, later today, Andrea will introduce our beautiful speakers today. I'm very grateful for their participation. Thank you for your time, for sharing your knowledge. This means a lot to us and all Ukrainian community. So again, thank you for this. As we have done this before, we started this rubric of let's celebrate our success. So I would like to report from the field that thank you to Olha Leshko, our teacher and also coordinator from STEM with Ukraine, who, when she was here, she pioneered this project on exchange letters from between Ukrainian and American students. So Andrea delivered the letters to America, and they have been successfully delivered to students in St. Rose School in Murfreesboro. This is a copy of the letters, and this is the beautiful students and teachers who participated in this project. And now we got another pack of letters sent to Ukraine. So wait, they're coming. I just got them yesterday from the principal. Before I do that, I would like to thank students who have been involved from Truskavets number 1 school, but also, in addition to Olga, sincere gratitude to teachers who have helped with this. Oksana Malitska, Anna Harasimyak, and Christina Bochulak. Sincere gratitude for all you do and for being part of this project. Ola, would you like to add something more? Is Olga is
Yes.
here? Okay.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I would like to say that it was great experience for our students, and they told the pen pals from the US about themselves and about the Christmas tradition, and now they are asking about will we receive a new letter? So now
Yes.
have a good news for them. So,
Yes.
and also I'd like to say thank you, Hannah, because it was your idea. And also, I want to say thank you for Sister Catherine Maria and all my colleagues who work with students and did this. And I hope that this it's a beginning, and now and in future we can do more, and some joint projects with between our students. And if you have some ideas, please you can mail us, and we can do something together. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Olha. And Olha, it raised a good point. We have done this with Truskavets School, but there are many other schools in Ukraine. So if you are open for this kind of collaboration, please let us know. It has been really a great experience for teachers, but also extremely great experience for students. So do wait. They prepared a postcard. I think this will be a more memorable kind of souvenir for students, and also letters. But the Ukrainian student did such a fantastic job writing and making drawings. This is really high quality work. Thank you so much. Uh, to you, Ola, and again to teachers from Truskavets School Number One. You're doing fantastic job. Thank you, guys. Another report, though STEM with Ukraine started to collaborate with Kharkiv Karazin University. I had a huge honor to be an invited and plenary speaker during the Kharkiv Quantum Winter School, where I reported on my work on, actually, this is STEM related efforts. So I reported on quantum research and also education in United States. And we should have more students from them and faculty joining our program. Another development is that at one of the conferences, I met Dr. James Frerichs. He is a famous lecturer and scientist from Georgetown University, and he has kindly offered access to EDX course on mathematical and computational methods. He is able to provide free access to the course if you are on the audit version, so you will have access to tests and homeworks, and just take the class with a truly world top lecturer in the world. He has trained, I think, 20,000 students already just on EDX with that. So it's a really unique opportunity. I know students from Kharkiv, Lviv, and Ostrog and Kyiv have already joined the course. So if you are interested, please let me know. And because some arrangement has to be done with Dr. Frerichs. So please keep that in mind. There is a great opportunity. And he's a great lecturer, truly great lecturer. Andrea, would you like to mention something about this beautiful trip?
Yes, in November, I had the wonderful opportunity to visit Ukraine and visit some of the schools and do a little bit of volunteer work. It was such a memorable experience for me. And I think some of the people in these pictures are here with us. So I visited a school in Truskavets. I visited a school in Lviv. I also worked with some of the injured soldiers, and it's just a truly memorable time for me, and it's always going to hold such a special place in my heart. And thank you to everyone for making this such a wonderful experience. I'll never forget Ukraine, and I hope I can come back very soon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you everybody who hosted, Andrea. And one more thing. So last lecture, we advertised that STEM with Ukraine, especially Natalia Yakushko, who is a member of STEM with Ukraine. She is a graduate student in Knoxville, Tennessee. She's a like remarkable volunteer for Ukraine. And at that time, we advertised collections and asked for collections to help to bring presents to Ukrainian kids. Many people and faculty and leadership team from provost and etc. contributed to this initiative. And Natalia, this is a picture of Natalia's delivering goods and help to Ukrainian kids. So Natalia is not with us here today, but we are extremely grateful for all she does. She does truly like a fantastic job. So with this, I would like to say thank you for now. So this is all reports for now. I do know we have new people who joined STEM with Ukraine, and you contacted me. If you want to volunteer to do something, you want to give a lecture or participate, please don't hesitate to contact us. I do know that I have at least one person who wants to do something more, so I'm going to discuss with them offline on this. Okay. So with this, I would like to give the floor to Andrea. Andrea, so floor is yours. All right. Thank you so much.
Hannah and Ulha. That was wonderful. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. I would like to introduce our two wonderful speakers who are also my colleagues, Dr. Laura Barnett and Dr. Christy Maldonado. Dr. Lara Barnett has worked in the education field for over 32 years. She started as an English teacher and became an assistant principal and later principal in our public schools. Since 2020, she has been assistant professor at Austin Peay State University, coordinating the MAED Educational Leadership Program for aspiring principals. She mentors school leaders, supports and fosters students, and was named a faculty fellow by the Tennessee Department of Education in 2024. She is also very active in the local community and does so much to support educational initiatives to improve our schools. And Dr. Christy Maldonado serves as the Associate Dean of Assessment and Accreditation for the College of Education at Austin Peay State University. She has over 20 years of public education experience. She has taught and served as an assistant principal in our local schools here in Tennessee. She also helps coordinate our MAED Educational Leadership Program for aspiring principals. She is highly dedicated to teacher preparation, leadership development, and maintaining high educational standards for our students and teachers. All right, Dr. Maldonado and Dr. Barnett, when you're ready, you can begin. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you, Andrea. We're really glad to be here today. And what we would like to talk with you today about is emotional leadership and emotional intelligence in leadership. And so, you know, in such a short session, there is no way that we can really cover all of the things that there are to cover with emotional intelligence. And so while we're going to give you a little taste, we're going to also then provide you with some resources to explore it further on your own. And so the things that we want to make sure that we address today are defining emotional intelligence. We're going to talk about the importance of emotional intelligence and provide you with some resources. And so when we talk about emotional intelligence, sometimes shortened to EI, you know, it has sort of evolved over time from, it used to be known as EQ, which was emotional quotient, because it was compared at the beginning of when it was widely introduced, it was compared to IQ. And so there was sort of the difference between intellect and emotional intelligence. So when we talk about emotional intelligence in leadership, it refers to a leader's ability to understand and manage their own emotions and be able to understand what's happening in the emotions of others around them. This is really important for a leader to be able to build strong relationships with their colleagues, in particular, not just colleagues that are on a lateral level, but the employees that work for them. It helps them know how to motivate teams, make effective decisions that are what's in the best interest of the organization, and navigate challenging situations with empathy and awareness for how it affects everyone on the team. So when we think about why are we talking about emotional intelligence, I wanted to take a minute to really give you some connection to the elements of leadership that you may already be familiar with. And so when we talk about overarching, widely known leadership theories, several of them are highly influenced by emotional intelligence and the elements of EI. And that would be transformational leadership, servant leadership, and authentic leadership. And in those leadership theories and the characteristics that they are known for, they are heavily influenced by the leader's ability to understand and be aware of not just their own actions, but how that impacts every person in the organization, and focus on the organization's goals, but also to keep the people in mind without forgetting about that. As a leader, one of the most important things is being able to lead a team of people to accomplish some common goal. And it's very different from a traditional authoritarian type of leadership style. And so just some well-known business and organizational speakers and authors that you may have heard of that really their main message and their main focus is centered around emotional intelligence. Simon Sinek is one. He is a well-known speaker who has built his brand around making sure that every person in your organization has a personal why, what it is, why they do what they do, building relationships with others, and the critical role of trust in any organization. Brene Brown, she is a speaker and author who focuses a lot on vulnerability, authenticity, and courage from a leadership standpoint. Mel Robbins talks about empowerment, mitigating or reducing the impact of procrastination and negative thought patterns on your productivity and your leadership. Nick Vujicic talks about resilience and overcoming adversity so that you can accomplish goals. Oprah Winfrey, who was a TV personality and become author and speaker, talks about self-belief and personal growth and always trying to improve yourself. And John Maxwell talks about positive thinking. And so all of those are people that are well known worldwide for being experts in authentic leadership and having a positive impact on the people around you. And they all highly value that emotional intelligence piece. The first really widespread introduction of emotional intelligence to a more broad audience beyond researchers. Daniel Goleman published a book in 1995 called Emotional Intelligence. And so while he wasn't the author of the first introduction of the concept of EI, he was, with this book, he really hit a widespread audience around the world with not just what was emotional intelligence, but how it impacts your work and your everyday life. And so he posits that EI is a crucial factor in leadership effectiveness, encompassing the skills and competencies that influence one's ability to excel, not just in the personal domains, but professional. And so he really took that idea and blended it across how it impacts a person's life overall. He has published many books since then, and some really focusing on emotional intelligence in leaders specifically. This perspective was really groundbreaking in the idea of expanding the idea of human intelligence, because before this concept really was introduced, the general consensus was that people in general highly valued intellect and that IQ measure. And so while intellect and someone's capacity for thinking and that intelligence quotient is one aspect of someone's ability, the idea that emotional intelligence may even be more important than IQ, this was really introduced and emphasized by Goleman. And so this theory highlights 5 domains: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. And so one thing that's very interesting about this is that, traditional theories, for the most part, traditional theories about IQ say that it's pretty static. You're born with what you got. There's not a lot of ways to increase by a large percentage someone's intellectual capacity. But the interesting thing about emotional intelligence is that Goleman asserts that they are not inborn traits, that is not a static or a fixed point in your life, and that these capabilities can be learned and developed and grown. Even if someone may have a little bit more innate ability from the beginning, that no one is at a fixed point and can continue to grow and develop in that area. So when we talk about those 5 components, self-awareness is the idea of you know and understand your own thoughts, feelings, and motivations. Self-regulation is being able to control, regulate not just your emotions, but your actions in a variety of environments. Empathy is being able to empathize and appreciate another person's perspective. Decision making is making responsible choices and accepting the outcome of that choice. And then social skills is creating and maintaining healthy relationships with others. And so when we talk about self-awareness, it is important as a well-developed adult, and particularly for a leader, to understand their own emotions, their strengths and weaknesses, what they value, and what drives them. Being honest with yourself and aware of how your feelings impact you and the others around you. And so it's really that idea of being an authentic leader and making choices throughout your personal and professional life that reflect that. And then when we talk about self-regulation, this is managing your own emotions and behaviors in different situations, controlling impulses, maintaining composure under pressure, being trustworthy, adaptable, and being innovative. And so it is sometimes a skill that may need to be developed in certain people, but it's certainly something that you want to see in a successful leader. As a leader, it's also important in this area to suspend judgment and think before you act. So don't necessarily assume that you know, and make sure that you think through and gather all of the information before you make some determination. Being very conscientious and adapting to changing circumstances also sort of falls under this category. And motivation is an interesting idea because these are the emotional tendencies that seem to guide or facilitate us reaching our goals. To passion for work beyond money or status. And so when we think about what motivates us to do what we do, this is that concept of why. Why do we do what we do? Why did you go into the field that you're in? It's also important as a leader to think about what motivates the people around you, in particular your employees. And so we always say when we're working with kids that different kids have a different currency. There are different things that are going to motivate a child to work for you. Sometimes it's a relationship with the teacher. Sometimes it is getting a good grade and having a sense of accomplishment. Sometimes it's pleasing a parent. And so, you know, there are a lot of different things, and that's no different for adults. And so with motivation, when you have the right motivation, it allows you to pursue your goals with energy and passion. You have a drive to succeed. You demonstrate optimism, and you're committed to the organization. Empathy is really understanding the emotional makeup of other people and treating them according to those emotional reactions. So you have to know how to develop others, have that political awareness of what's going on around you, have developed listening skills, and leveraging diversity among the people around you. Recognizing others' feelings or even anticipating how something may make someone feel, even when it's not always obvious, shows good empathy. And then social skills really talks about managing relationships with other people. And as a leader, that means moving people in the direction of the goals of the organization. So it's going to include some of those ideas of influence, communication, leadership, being a catalyst for change, particularly if you have some areas of improvement in your organization, building bonds between you and other people that you work with, but also helping to develop those bonds among your employees and colleagues. Collaboration, cooperation, mentoring, coaching, managing teams, and negotiating conflict effectively all sort of fall under the umbrella of developed social skills.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Laura Barnett, and I will continue this presentation for us. Thank you, Dr. Maldonado. Everything that she has shared with you that defines and explains emotional intelligence is interrelated. And I have often thought in the field of education that I probably should have minored in psychology instead of business. Because while you are a principal running a business or perhaps a leader in a college who has to have some of those skills, really the people skill is the most important one that I have developed over the years that has been impactful because it is a people business. Whether we're growing children or adults, we're dealing with people in their real life. And so, working on these domains personally as a leader to develop my emotional intelligence has been one of the secrets to success. We wanted to share some real life examples because it's one thing to talk about the definition, but it's important as educators to also think about the application. So, a real life example might be that an emotionally intelligent leader can perceive when their team members, whoever that is in your environment, feel stressed, overworked, or disengaged. And you can think about times that's happened. An emotionally intelligent leader is going to engage the team in supportive actions. So, what are supports? It may be offering help for the task at hand. It may be encouragement and positive feedback to help the person see the input that they're having is making a difference. Or it may be to instate some healthier work life balance, to give people permission to attend to things in their personal life that are important and that may be infringing upon the work task that they have. This not only enhances the team morale, people have been seen and heard, but their productivity increases and the turnover is reduced. In another example, an emotionally intelligent leader can pick up on social cues that teammates are frustrated or they're not working collaboratively. And surely you've seen that and felt that when people are not getting along well, there's tension, there's a level of frustration that prevents the group work going forward. This is called situational awareness, and it's a very important skill, but it prompts the leader to perceive that environment, to comprehend the situation. And I think that goes very much to the things that we've talked about, but also empathy, putting yourself in someone else's shoes to think about their perspective, analyzing the relationships, and then responding appropriately to unpack and resolve concerns. And often those are critical conversations with individuals or with the group so that voices are heard, problems are put on the table. We use the phrase, what's the elephant in the room? If you've not heard that, it's worth looking up. How do you address the thing that everybody knows and feels, but nobody's talking about? So when you are able to do this, you head off the threats or the risks to the work that you're doing by addressing people and the communication needs early and reestablishing healthy relationships. And another example, and I think I've seen this as much as any, an emotionally intelligent leader recognizes the impact of a health or a home life situation on an employee and connects with that employee privately to understand the stress it may be causing at work. And so often I think of folks that I've worked with, mostly teachers who, whether it is a relationship issue, their own health, or the health of someone they love, they feel distracted, they feel torn, they're not sure which place to be, whether it's work or home, and they need understanding. So a compassionate leader listens, asks questions, and demonstrates respect for this employee and the struggle that they are facing. A compassionate leader is going to offer flexibility in completing work assignments around the difficulty. And so you find as a leader that just the permission that you give someone to take some time off, to take an extra day or two for a deadline, to take something off their plate, to help them prioritize which things need to be done first and which things can come later, or you can get additional help. This shows value for this employee as a person and their contributions in the workplace. It demonstrates empathy and it builds a relationship of compassion with the person that you are working with. So three examples of how we might apply this. Let's talk about the benefit of emotional intelligence in leadership. And if you've never thought about the role that you hold in this, these are the outcomes that you can look forward to. Improve team morale and engagement. So by demonstrating empathy and understanding, there's a positive and supportive work environment that motivates people. Enhance communication. Effective leaders can communicate clearly and adapt their message to different individuals based on their emotional states. And if you've ever been the recipient of someone seeing you, hearing you, understanding you, and adapting to a situation that you're in, you know how that builds allegiance and an affiliation to that leader and a desire to support them and work for them. Better decision making is an outcome. By considering the emotional impact of decisions, leaders can make more informed choices. And as a leader, you are always helping navigate a project or a situation to a conclusion that is the best possible outcome. Conflict resolution amongst adults can be challenging, but with high emotional intelligence, you can effectively manage these by understanding the emotions underneath. And you see why I say maybe you need a degree in psychology. While this may be a soft skill that you bring to the table, conflict resolution early and actively is the best way to bring people around a project. And then increase motivation and performance. When employees feel understood and valued by their leader, they are more likely to be motivated and perform at their best. I can attest to this. Leaders that I've had who demonstrate these skills and work with the team in this manner, I feel like I would jump through hoops of fire for that person. I listen to them, I respect them, I value them, I try to meet their expectations. And I have had leaders who did not demonstrate these, who I often found myself being skeptical of them, found myself being resistant, found myself questioning. And that doesn't make me a good team player if in my mind I don't feel like I can trust the person to have the best interest of the project and the people in it. So I know this is a little bit small, but take a look at the words in red. This comes from the Harvard Business School online, and it's interesting to me that we have taken something that feels kind of touchy-feely, something you might get in a therapy session, and we're studying at Harvard Business School, which is one of our top business schools in the United States. So here are some suggestions that they have for their students to be emotionally intelligent. Journaling, which is recording and reflecting your emotions just to gather your thoughts and to reflect on what they say to you about yourself. We do something in our school system called a 360 assessment, and that is when the people who work under that leader are able to give anonymous feedback in a very measured way on a survey, so that that leader in the opposite, instead of giving feedback to the employee gives feedback to them. And when that happens, you get to see trends and patterns. You get to see outliers. You get to see who for the most part feels good about the work that's being done. Practicing active listening can be difficult when we are very busy, but when you put things away, you get out a notepad and a pen, you lean into a person, you take notes and listen, you echo back what you've heard, you are going to be demonstrating emotional intelligence in a very palpable way. This next one can be difficult. Some of us wear our emotions on our face or in our body language, and people read from us strong emotions that we are feeling, and it may be masking, but it is a matter of professionally being able to withhold strong emotions so that you can listen and think. And as a principal for 18 years, one of the things that I learned about decision making and emotions that you have around things that make you feel very frustrated or very concerned is that unless the building is on fire, you need to stop and think about something. You need to gather information, you need to process, and you need to let your emotions deflate before you make big decisions. And then lastly, we're going to give you some resources for online learning, courses, training, opportunities to hear and see more about this. I love YouTube. It's just a wonderful way to sit for 15 or 20 minutes and be engaged with someone who's intelligent and articulate and who gives great examples. And it's a very visual audio way of learning. So I want to recommend to you, if you're interested in this topic, these 3 YouTubes that you see here, 2 by Daniel Goleman. The other is an author that plays off of his work, but I'm hoping we'll share these with you in a way that you can view them. If you would prefer to pick up an article, here are some really good articles that are fairly recent on emotional intelligence. And you can see they're from the Center for Creative Leadership, Harvard Business School, and Forbes. These are all wonderful places where you can learn more about yourself and the application of these skills. And there's a self-assessment. So that might be a wonderful place to start, is just to get some feedback on where you are in the matrix of all of these, and to start thinking about areas that you want to consider in your own leadership. We would like to do a quick activity with you. And so what we're going to do is give you a situation on the next screen, put you in breakout rooms. We'll go back one slide for me. Put you in breakout rooms for a few minutes. You'll be in groups of about 3 or 4. And what we're going to ask you to do with the members of your group is consider this scenario. What would an emotionally intelligent leader say? What would an emotionally intelligent leader do? So what would they say? What would they do? You may even want to take a screenshot of this. It's hard sometimes when you go to those breakout rooms and then you don't have the situation in front of you. So imagine this. You are the leader in an organization that is working on a project with a short timeline. The due date for you to finish is approaching quickly, so you can feel a sense of urgency. There's been a serious accident at work in which one of the team members on this project was injured and will be in the hospital for several days, but will recover. Other team members are concerned, distracted, feeling overwhelmed and anxious, and they need your leadership to refocus. So as we put you in these breakout rooms, again, screenshot would help you. What might you say? What might you do as the leader?
All right, I'm going to go ahead and put everyone into breakout rooms right now. Let's spend about, do you think maybe 10 minutes, or what do you think?
I think 5 or 6
5
minutes.
minutes. Okay, 5 or 6 minutes. Let's go ahead and do that now. Okay. All right, the room should be open. If anyone doesn't see a breakout room, just let me know and I can reassign you. Once again, if you have any problems going to your breakout room, just let me know. I'm gonna move a few people around. I'm gonna temporarily stop recording. Again, so okay, I'm gonna close the rooms now. Welcome back. Dr. Chaichenko, the next time I go to Ukraine, I hope I can visit you.
Excuse me.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're still waiting on a few more groups. The breakout rooms will automatically close in 2 seconds. Okay. All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a good discussion.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes, it's very interesting. We are colleagues and we try to speak about interesting information. And last time I'm very interested in case technology, and I'd like to try it on my students, but it's rather difficult because our university means that people students work, and there are not so many attendance during our lessons, but we have or online studying, and of course they do tests, they do individual work, but real communication nothing can change real communication.
That's absolutely right. Yes, and I'm glad we could engage in some real communication in our breakout room, so you guys have opportunities to talk to each other and share your insights and experiences. All right. So, Dr. Barnett, I'm going to turn it back over to you. If you have anything else to add, that was great. I love this activity.
Thank you.
Yes.
Dr. Maldonado, if you'll cue up the next screen. I'm going to give you two quick examples as we wrap this up. We watch a lot of football in the United States, and we root for our team, and we dress up silly and eat potato chips. When someone on the football team is injured and they are taken off on a stretcher, the game doesn't end. The clock still runs. The team still has a goal to accomplish, and the coach has to rally who's left on the field to say, we love this person, we care about this person, they're in good hands, they're getting medical care, they're going to be fine. How do we get ourselves back in this game to play and to win? Another example, when a student reaches out to me to say, I've had a death in the family. I'm going to be out of town for 3 days. Can I have an extended deadline for the assignment that's due? I don't immediately say, yes, do you need 4 days or 5 days? This is how you're going to submit it to me. I start with, I'm sorry. Tell me about what happened. How are you feeling? How is your family? How far do you need to travel? Is this going to be difficult with your work and your home school? Start with the empathy and then move to the solution. So I hope that you considered questioning and active listening, asking the team, how are you feeling? It could be feelings about the person who was injured. It could be feelings about the workload. It could be feelings about what they're going to be asked to do that they don't know how to do, or that other person has always been the expert in. And then you speak about feelings and concerns that show your vulnerability, that you care about the person and you care about the outcome. So the empathy of you expressing the feelings that you have. And then comes motivating and valuing. You turn to them and say, you guys are great. You've got this. We are going to look at the work and take it apart and figure out how to make this happen. You are smart. I have a belief that you are going to be able to do this well, and I'm going to be right beside you as we get this accomplished. And then making decisions to progress the work. So as you begin to make new assignments or set new deadlines, are you giving them the resources, the time, maybe some stipend pay, maybe somebody else you bring into the team? Are you doing things that meet the needs that they have expressed? And so it's just a great example of how we want to start with a solution, but we need to start with the people.
Thank you so much, Dr. Barnett. That was wonderful. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you, guys.
Maldonado, as well. We really appreciate your insightful presentation. I just have a few questions that I want to ask. If anyone needs to sign off, that's completely okay, but just a few questions before we wrap it up. So how can teachers or professors use emotional intelligence to build good relationships with students or colleagues? Anybody want to jump in? How can we use this skill in our work settings?
Okay, I want to say, I would say that in our university, Donbass State Pedagogical University, I can say most, but many teachers, my co-workers use emotional intelligence when they spend their lessons and when we take part in some projects and work together in different collaboration. And especially for me, it's very crucial to feel that my chief or my colleagues really understand what I feel, what I need at this moment, when I feel upset, maybe when I a little bit disappointed, and it helps us to understand one another, and maybe sometimes we can force our job, sometimes we can a little stop because we need a break, for example. And I believe that each of us need to know that he is important. His point is important. His how he imagine, our finished goal, also important for everybody in our collaboration. It really helps to handle attention in a positive way, I think. I know I have such experience, and I believe that we need to develop this topic and discuss it more with our students, with our teachers, because it's this topic very perspective in science and education. So yeah.
Yes. Are you teaching any courses that highlight emotional intelligence? Because I know this is highly related to your field.
No, but I'm interested in this topic, and I am ahead of Unite of Young Science, and my young scientists research this topic. And today we work together, and I also invited my young scientists, maybe in the future, if they can also they can join us, because the topics that we are consider in our group very important and relevant for my scientists, our scientists.
Yes, absolutely. And please invite other people too, so we can have deeper discussions on these important topics. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. I love the focus on remembering that we're all individual people with different experiences. And I know, especially in Ukraine right now, people are dealing with so much, and the children, adults too, everybody. And we have to remember that, right? Everybody has their own story, their own experiences. And sometimes there's a lot of pain and trauma that we have to be mindful of as well, right? Yeah, that was wonderful. Beautiful response. Thank you. Does anybody else want to share?
Between, I do want to ask, do we teach this emotional intelligence except for business schools somewhere else? Do you know?
Maybe soft skills.
Yes, I think the answer would be yes in the United States, as it has really made its way into academia. We see it show up in so many places that are people businesses, and I know in the leadership program, we definitely lean into it because we're sending people who are teachers out to be principals, and we know that it's a skill set that's a game changer. So yes.
Nice, nice. Thank you.
Anybody else want to share? Or does anybody else have a question they want to ask on this topic?
I have listened to some course about soft skills development, and what I have heard today, for me, it resonates with the approaches how to create a win-win situation for the team, so that everyone is heard, everyone is involved, and everyone is appreciated. So thank you for this pieces of advice and for today's meeting.
That was wonderful. I love that piece on everyone being appreciated, right? Sometimes we forget to recognize the people on our teams for the incredible work that they're doing, and we have to take the time to recognize those people for all that they do. And I appreciate all of you for being here. I know that you have busy lives and there's so much going on, so thank you immensely for taking the time to be here this afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. Right? Any final questions or thoughts before we wrap it